Hi, Carol here. A real warm welcome back to my craft room to page number 2. So here I'm measuring the back of the teacup creation that I made on the last tutorial because my intention was to have this flip up on the back page vertically, just flip right straight up in the air and have a waterfall on here. I wanted to have between 7, 8 or 9 waterfall pages, and I wanted to do it with the twist there. So on the bottom, your pattern to the paper all matches when it falls down in the waterfall formation. But you know me, I never go with the plan. No, I don't even know why I have a plan because I always venture off. So this measures 7 3/4 to 5.5. If anybody's interested, I wasn't interested, so if I'm not interested and I'm creating it, I don't know why I'm showing you, but you know when I start things. So I'm using 65-pound black from Michaels, and this is the 110-pound. Oh yes, it is. It is the 110, and you can see the difference, and you can see the difference in the color. You know, all blacks are not the same, all whites are not the same, all grays. They all are made probably from a different vat and of dye. So I thought, you know what, I'll just grow a flower. You know what I mean? I was just in the mood for growing a flower. And I thought I would take you through the process of how I changed this up for the second page of this wedding album. Now, what you're looking at there, this is the one before I put all that stuff on top of it was leather paper. It's beautiful. It's in gray and pink, and I will use that later on. And these are papers from that bridal 12 by 12 deal I got at Michaels, and I was looking through that to try to figure out what I wanted to put on the back. And then I actually went to a total different cardstock because I thought I would incorporate the gold. But isn't that punch? I wanted to show you that punch. That's why I left it in. It punches up in the corner and you can slide pictures in it. It's beautiful, but you're going to have to measure that. And here I wanted to show you that acetate, because I think I called it vellum before in the last tutorial. It's not, it's acetate. And it has like fuzzy on the back. It's really soft. You know, like back in the day when I used to, I don't know, in the 60s or something, 70s maybe, when you had the Elvis thing going in your living room, everything was black or Spanish and red. I had red lamps and velvet and all that kind of stuff back then. Whoa. So here's the new white satin I got at Michael's. Remember I showed that in a small haul? And I was thinking that I would switch over to this color because of so much of the pinks and reds, and there was no gold in it until I created, excuse me, I am having throat issues, so bear with me. I just wanted to get this voiceover done. So I thought, no, I need to go to the grays because right now isn't the time to put the gold in there. I will put gold in, but it will be later. And I thought that this was such a, I don't know, it was a gray, but like this smoky colored, sandy color in the background. And I thought it was really pretty. And then I got to thinking, well, it is pretty, Carol, but you're going to have to cover it up because you're going to have a waterfall on top of it, right? But I didn't figure that out until a little later either. But I had to show you this in the tutorial. It was so funny. You gotta love it, you know? I make more mistakes. I probably could have, in the time of all the mistakes that I made, if that's a sentence, I could have put 2 albums together, I'm telling you. And as you can see, I grabbed a different paper for the background of this because it had to be in that smoky gray. But the funny thing is, you're covering most of it up. That's what you have to remember when you're doing, you know, if you're showcasing the paper, that's a different story. But when you're covering it up, and I went through torture with this, and I'm going to show you that because I end up doing something totally different, something totally off the wall, and you will see that because you're in my craft room joining me, so you're going to have to see it, right? If you're spending time with me, we have to share this journey. So now I am deciding on, whatever paper is in the background, you know, like the background of that actual creation with the teacup and teapot, you're going to have to cut out, which would be 7 3/4 inches wide. Then you have to make a decision, okay, how many flaps do I want to have? And these are going to be for pictures, right? They're picture flaps. Or if they're not, you're going to put cardstock on it to pretty it up. But you have to make a decision on the actual size. So just measure the back it's going to sit on and then determine it going horizontally, but you need to know how many you want. And then once you get that figured out, because you're the one that's going to know, because it's going to be an album or a card page, whatever. But I want to take you through the process, because really this is the Waterfall card. Even if you put it inside a card and not an album, it's remarkable to look at it. There are so many different techniques you can use to situate a waterfall card. And here I'm working rather late. I want to tell you that. I'm working late at night here. So I'm trying to figure it out. How many do I have to cut out? Like, how far do I want these to go? I scored them at 1/2 inch, so I know I'm going to place them 1/2 inch under each other. And you'll see that. I leave it in the edit. And I ended up with 9 of them. Okay. Now, I'll show you when it comes up, because I was making major boo-boos. I don't know if it was because it was late at night. I don't know why it was. I could not get my act together, and you're going to see that. I started out trying to just distress the top of this page. This was going to be the actual waterfall, what you were going to see on the top. So you're going to see those roses come together, right? So this was going to sit on the one top piece. Then you're going to cut in 1/2 inch off of the bottom of this in 1/2 inch increments, so that it sits at the bottom of each little page that flips, okay? I could not get my inks to work. I could not do it. So I had to move on. I couldn't find a color until I went to the Stampin' Up. I found Smoky Slate, I think it was called, and it was the identical color to that. But I didn't use it anyway, so it didn't matter. So I moved forward. Oh yeah, it's just what I do, right? So I thought, okay, Carol, just take your 1/2 inch tape here and go across all of them, because I am going to need these and you're going to need them, and get that situated. And then I had to decide, okay, Carol, what are you going to use on these? And then it's so nice, I found this Stampin' Up thing. We shared it on the last tutorial, you know, the whole story behind that little thing. And here we go. I'm just, now here's the mistake. Here's one of the mistakes. Don't start cutting. Don't start cutting unless you're going to cut the exact same off of every page that you're putting in there. And I missed one. And guess what that did? It put me out of alignment. And you don't want to do that. Just leave it until the end. Look at some of them, I'm measuring them off, but somehow in the turmoil of doing this, I cut one. I didn't cut one. And it ended up sticking out the side. But I'm going to show you how I remedied that. Oh yeah. You don't have to worry your pretty little heart out over it, because that's what crafters do. We figure out things, right? We figure out how to fix things. We're fix-it people. So here we go. I'm thinking, okay, this is the pattern I'm going to use. I stuck with this one. I didn't stick with the other one, but I think I stuck with this one. Now you're going to want to cut the top portion out right there. And then, yeah, make sure it fits on the top flap, because that's what you're going to see. You're only going to see the bottom half of the other one. So I took my glue. You know, I love this, the art glitter glue. Love that top on it. And you're going to put it at the top of the black piece of paper that's going to fit over the paper you chose to be the pretty paper. That's what we're going to call it. So I have that down, and I sped it up because you don't need to see that. There's the actual book. And I'm thinking, okay, now I have to, I don't know what I was doing there with my cutting knife, but yeah, And now you're going to want to put glue. I put double-sided tape and glue. Yes. And then you have to make sure you put it on there right. Yeah. The actual top has to, the 1/2 inch has to be right underneath the other 1/2 inch. And then you just move forward. Oh, yes. And you can see I had to make that fit. So you just make a crease and yeah, it'll fit. I don't know. I'm probably talking to myself because I am doing that right. Well, I'm talking to you, right? And I just went right along and it seemed to be working itself out. It all looked organized. It all looked the same measurement. But those scissors, stay away from your scissors and once you've cut it and it all measures the exact same, leave it. Trust you me. Don't start cleaning things up because something happens when we do that. I don't know how it happens, but it does. Even though I'm cutting up all of them. I had one out of alignment, but at the end, yes, you can't even tell. That's for sure. So, no, you don't want to put that up there, Carol. That you have to cut them out in 1/2 inch increments. They're sitting at the bottom of your waterfall, not there, right there. But you know what I did right away? I forgot to, I put them in a big pile. You can't do that. You have to cut them out and lay them to the pattern. It's like a puzzle. When it starts coming down your waterfall, they all have to match because the paper has a pattern in it. Did I do that? No. I was playing around with these papers. I had them so messed up. I had to stop what I was doing and actually go back to the drawing board and put this puzzle together so I could fit it on the bottom of the waterfall because that's what we're doing. I'm going around it with one of these dollar store where nothing's a dollar brushes that I have. I have one that has the spongy on the top. This is the one I'm using, and then I bought the ones that have the hairy stuff. So this is the non-hairy brush I'm using to go over all the edges, and yeah, and I chose to go over it, which is very funny, with black soot. Isn't that hysterical? I try every other ink, and I go back to either vintage photo or black soot. Creature habit, right? So what I should say here is this is the reminder to put your pattern in order as you're cutting it. And is this a pattern or what? You can really tell. If I was to switch one of these up, you would notice that it doesn't have that round circle or the inner space in it. So here I am playing with a puzzle, which is fine, except for, when for some reason I was creating in the evening. And yeah, so this will put you to sleep or wake you up, one of the two, whatever. I just thought, okay, come on, let's get it down right. You have to have a pattern here. Then you can finish off your waterfall and all of it just flows like a waterfall. It just flows. Yes, look at that. And then you have all this fun to create the inside of your waterfall. Now, I probably could have left this all out of the edit so you weren't bored to death. But you know what? I really liked the pattern paper I chose for the inside. See how I had to find that out? Oh yeah, it's Raining Roses. And that's the theme, Wedding Roses. I don't know, I haven't decided to put a theme to it. But I end up putting all of these down and it's so crazy pretty. Yeah, look at that. I don't know, did they fall on the floor and I had to make sure they were right? I can't remember. I just thought you better check twice because there's no going back once you glue it. Well, now it's time to pick the inside pattern. This is the fun part. And I was able to use these Bo Bunny papers that I have had in my stash forever. I don't even know if you can get it now. But it's beautiful. I used the back side, which is the same pattern that's on the inside of this tag, and it has the roses on it, so it was just perfect. Some of the pages had butterflies. They were different as far as pattern is concerned, but I didn't use any butterflies, so see, there's the butterfly right there. And I had to just be careful what I used, and I loved this tag one. I guess because it has roses on it and it's a tag. Yeah. So I was just taking a think there on what I did, and I did use this gray paper. And even if you don't put this properly on the inside. And what's really nice is if you cut all of your pages, all of your waterfall pages, excuse me, I'm working here with the cutter. Oh, yes. I love it when he just drops by, don't you? And even if you don't match the pattern of this busy paper right here, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. And if you did every page, but remember, I took the scissors to it and I took the Fiskars cutter to it, so I had to make sure that I measured each page so they were identical. Now, if you're going to do this waterfall card page, I recommend you stick with the, if it's 4x3, just cut all your black cardstock to 4x3 and don't go back. Because then you only have to take out a little 1/8 of an inch for around the edges if you like that, that style. But because, there I go again, I just had this thing for cutting it. And even if it's off a little bit, you're going to see it. And you will see that as I'm moving forward on this. I had to cut the little piece off the cardstock that I used because I cut it off the black cardstock. So you're going to want to be sure to keep your scissors hidden. Take away that cutter off your island. And I have to tell you something really funny. Look at my mat there. My cutting mat. I have the Tim Holtz glass mat. I took it off my island because my lights, it was the problem. It was bouncing off all of my big lighting here. So I had to take that off. And then I had this big green cutting mat that I love. But I have used it so much. I apologize, but every video you've got to get an email. I have used it so much, it was really getting yucky underneath there, just from crafting. So that evening, like one of these evenings I was creating, my desk was a bomb, okay? It like exploded with craft products. It was terrible. So that evening, I just took a couple hours out of my time, forget about going to bed, forget about sleep, who needs it, right? I just cleaned all of the supplies. I got out some organizer. They're like little crates that my sister gave me. And I organized them to the end of my island. So everything was organized. I can just go to the end. I work so much better that way. I really do. When it's all over, my mind's all over. It does something psychological to me. So I turned my mat over and I'm going to show you how I cleaned it, like the other side. The other side has white lines for every square cubicle, every square inch. This one has black, but it was such a mess. Oh my, I really did a lot of crafting on that. There's the page. See what I'm saying? I cut that page out because I wanted it to be the same as, there's all the beautiful paper I had in my stash. Isn't it gorgeous? And I decided to take the stripes to put on the 1/2 inch where we glued that black cardstock down. It's a 1/2 inch. There's not too much error you can do with that. Unless you didn't score it at the 1/2 inch right on. But anywho, yeah. So I had everything on this island. It was just a mess. You can see it there, And so I took time and got it all organized, and I feel so much better. That's all it takes, just to organize the stuff that's all over the place and clean my mat. Yes. Anyway, yeah, I just thought I'd tell you that because it bothered me every time I looked at this side of the mat, my cutting mat. It was terrible. And yeah, that's what I'm saying. So here's a close-up of making sure you don't go on the creases and the folds. Kind of make sure I'm just matching it up and cutting it off with my scissors and black sooting it around the edges because I think one of these does 2 pages. It's kind of sweet. I like the stripes with the pattern. Really pretty. Offsets everything. And yeah, it's if you don't use your cutter knife, if you don't use your cutting board, it's funny how just a little wee 1/2 inch you can't get straight on the top. What's with that? I don't know. Now it's time for magnets, okay? I put 3 of them on there. I didn't need 3. I only needed 1. I don't know what I was thinking, I guess I thought more is more instead of less is more. I only needed the one in the middle because these are, oh, it'll come to me. I always use these magnets. They're really, really, really magnetized. So what I do is I place them down and I put Scotch tape on the top, and then, because you're going to put paper over it anyway, then I put the magnets that go on top of it so that I can get placement on the bottom. So what I do is I put double-sided tape on it. See, double-sided tape, take the tape off, put my other magnets on it and flick it up. But make sure that the double-sided tape, you don't press down on it because it's hard to get back up. You end up gluing your two pages together. Yeah, like you saw, I almost did. But if you just set it down so that the magnets can release themselves, you have a perfect fit. Then I just put a pocket page here. I ran to my punches because you know I'm doing my stash thing. And this matched the pattern above it, you know, the stripes. And then I had a punch that actually punched out leaves. Yes, like tea leaves. Yes, I did the whole theme. The tea leaves. Oh yes, there it is. Fiskars. We're going with Fiskars. Isn't that pretty? I love my old punches. I never got rid of them. You know, I just think they're wonderful. They come in handy at the inopportune times. No, at the opportune times. Yes, you always need a punch. Well, not a punch, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, sometimes I probably do need a punch. Wake me up. But anywho, yeah, so here we go. I'm putting it down, and then I realized this is where, make sure you only glue it on the two sides and the bottom, because it is going to be a pocket, little pocket, you know. And I punched out the gold, and I'm going to put it directly underneath so that I get the gold. Now, first I was going to put every little leaf in there until I realized, Carol, if you do that, it's not a pocket because it's going to glue itself to the page underneath. This is what I'm talking about. How can somebody go through this much turmoil thinking? See, that's what I wanted right there. So I will punch it out again, cut the top off, slide it down, glue it in with double-sided, I think I used double-sided tape. I don't think I used liquid because it would have been all over the place. But knowing me, I could have used liquid and then had to wash it all up. And I know that curve on the top looks like it's cut off. It's not. It's just that it's gray. So when you slide that down, oh yeah, you've got the gold behind it. And then on the edges, you can put a little leaf in there. And that's what I did. I just love it. Look at that. Just a little space. Just a little pocket. And then you have the tea leaves going across there. Marvelous. Marvelous, darling. I just love it. Yes. And filled in all the gaps. Remember that show, Green Acres is the place for me. What was it, Jaja or Ava Gabor? I don't know which one played that. So long ago. And now you're going to want to put a tag on the top. You need something that you're going to pull because you have magnets there, right? So I just grabbed one of my tags, you know, one of my pre-cut tags, glued her down and put another one on top so it was double thick. You know, I love my thickness. There's something about the thickness I have to have. So I did that, and instantly you have a wonderful piece sticking out. But the beauty of putting a whole tag on there is when you pull it up, you have the stability. It's all about the stability. It's all about the thickness. Yes. There I go cutting again. Oh, I don't know what's wrong with me. Then I cut another piece so that the back of it had another thickness. Something about the thickness because you're pulling on this, right? And this is where I get my gold sequins in there, my sequin ribbon, or sequin thread, or whatever they call it. There I go, cutting again. Pretty soon I'm not going to have a waterfall because I'm going to cut it all into the tag and call it a tag. Yeah, so I grabbed my Fiskars. This is a day, I think. No, we are memory keepers. Punch there, and I punch a hole, and it was it was over to the left too far. Of course, mistakes galore. So I took the other side and did the big hole and moved it over. So it worked out perfectly. Yeah, and this is 3 thick. Beauteous. Now I'm going to stamp that little tag that I made from my Spellbinder dies. Love this. This matches the tea pot page, right? It's the same Spellbinders, just a smaller die. Then I had this Art Impressions. I've never used it, of course. I got it out. It has a little kitten underneath. Oh yeah, I am going to put powder on it, am I? No, no, this is so funny. I went off my chair, walked around the aisle, and grabbed the baby powder. I didn't use it. Look how close it is to me. Look, look. I thought I was going to go put it away, and I thought, no, just leave it there, Carol. Why get up? Why get up and do it? You're not going to use it anyway, whether you put it away or put it in front of you. Yeah, so anyway, it worked out well. I only had a few little strays. It has 2 little wingback chairs at a table, a little kitty underneath the rug, chandelier, and the tea set up on the table. How cute is that? That's what I mean. I love shopping in my stash, and this is where I get my gold. I get the gold in. You know, I have to have some gold in all my projects if I can think of it. And then it has little cycles. So what do you do with your cycles? You have to put poils in them. Yeah, I'm thinking of the Three Stooges. Boy, what is with me today? I'm thinking all these oldies things, you know, Three Stooges and Saturday Morning. I know some people, you either like them or you don't. And I think when it first came out, I did like it. I don't know if I could handle much of it today, but, you know, the poils. Get your poils here. And then Zsa Zsa Gabor with Marvelous, Darling. Simply Marvelous, yeah. Sticking in my brain for some reason. So there I have all the beautiful pearls all the way around. Come on, Carol, get sensible here. And now I double tape it, right? Double-sided tape, because this paper that you're looking at from that paper pack from Michael's, the 12 by 12, it is really not only shiny, but it's slick. It's really slick paper, so you want to make sure you have double tape down there. Isn't that pretty? And it so matches the other page. But wait till you see what I do on the album. I don't do one thing I said I was going to do. Not one thing. Changed it all up. So anyway, I went to my stash again, and I had these pewter Tim Holtz stickers, you know, like the corners and the beautiful ovals for picture frames, and they're really thick. I've had them in my stash forever, and yeah, I'm just matching up the scallop. That's why I have to put one up above there, but I do cut it off. And isn't that pretty? There's something about gray and pink, especially when the grays go over into the hue of the blue. Really is pretty, isn't it? But then, oh, wait till you see. Like everything I do, I didn't have enough of the strips that were the same to go all the way down so it all looked the same. But my brain thinks eclectic anyway. I like things mismatching, and it doesn't all have to match for me. I do like that eclectic look and of things. And it really worked out. It's a good thing I did, or you'd have a severe brain aneurysm just from looking at it, because, you know, your OCD, which I don't have very much of it. I just like details, and I like things organized. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe that is a little bit of OCD. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. You know me. I just wing it. So here we go. Here we go. I'm cutting it out. I guess I found another pack with just a few in it, and I managed to get 2 of these pages. So if I had have looked ahead of time instead of winging it, I would have realized, Carol, you don't have enough strips to finish this if you want it all to be the same. But it didn't matter, because I've got scissors and a cutting board, so what do I care? I'll just cut it all off and fix it. Yes. Cut and Fix, that's my middle name. There's my beautiful sequin thread there that I put through the hole. And then I was looking at it. See that Tim Holtz, all of that goodness on that page? I love those. But don't depend on the stickiness behind it. It appears to be very sticky, but you have to put some kind of liquid glue behind it to keep it. And you can see how I made it. At least I made it go from fat to skinny on the side Tim Holtz little thingies there, yeah. And then you got to pull it up. So good thing I put a whole tag behind there. I put a little heart behind the little pocket so you could see that. And then I'm just admiring it, going, oh, Carol, that's just beautiful, because I'll tell you what, when things aren't straight and when you've cut too much off or not enough off or whatever, separate your patterns. So even if you don't like it in your mind, you like everything to be just so, separate the patterns, because then the eye goes crazy. And the person that gets the album, the eye's going to go nuts because it's not fixed on one particular thing. So it's going to look like you did everything on purpose. Here comes his Three Stooges again. On purpose. So I found all this pink paper. It's not Bow Buddy, but it's a beautiful paper. It looked like marble. Yes. I'm just making sure everything is glued down. And when you stick something in, obviously you on the leaves there, you lose the gold, but that's okay, you know, because you're going to take it in, you know, you're just going to write a little bit of something on there if you're putting pictures on the opposite side. I don't think of those things when I do an album. And I'm going to show you a few things that I did that I did keep because I didn't finish it. Couldn't give it away because I didn't finish the projects. I was shy of a few pages, but I'll show you a few waterfall projects at the end if you stick with me, you know, if you're not bored senseless. Yes. So here we go. I'm going to cut some photo mats because I have those photo corners. And I got those from my dollar store where nothing's $1. Those photo corners. So it's wonderful. Yes. Instead, it's very hard for me to not take my distress tool and distress the edges. But I didn't. I left them clean. And there's the corners. Aren't they fabulous? But guess what? I had only one page. One page. And then every line, now wait till you see this. Every line of those corner pages, doesn't that look like Batman on that side? I could use it as a Batman bridal book if I wanted to. But every line there has a different pattern on the top of the corner. I didn't realize that. So, didn't realize till after I'm looking at them going, whoa, they look like they have a different pattern. They do. So all my pages have different patterned pewter. It's shiny like pewter. It's beautiful. And you can put a nice 3x4 inch. I made it 3x4. Pretty sure it's 3x4. Yes, I am. I made it 3x4 and you could slide a nice, let me say it again, 3x4 picture on there. Probably talking to myself, having a lovely soliloquy all by myself. Yes. If you don't want somebody to think, you know, say, oh, I was just talking to myself, say you had a soliloquy. That's what, you know, the echelon of the upper class call it, a soliloquy. I'm having a little soliloquy off to the side with my cup of tea. Yes, no, I'm talking to myself. Yeah, but I know soliloquy means talking to yourself. So look at the mess. Look at the mess of that cut. I'm embarrassed. I apologize. I'm so sorry. I look like a slob. But when you create, that's what you get if you don't clean after yourself. Yes. So here, yeah. If you watch my tutorials, you know I'm all over the place. Yes. I just love you joining me in my craft room. I picture all of you, all surrounded, and we're all having some tea, and we're just crafting together and talking together and having a good old time. Yes. Because you know I love crafting. When I can get in the craft room, I do. And the beauty of YouTube is you can scan across my tutorials and get to the end real quick. Yes. Oh, I'm sick of listening to her. Let's get to the end. That is the beauty of YouTube. You can take your little mouse and skim all the way to the end and cut out all the middle and watch the ending. And I just, you know, I just like to relax in my craft room. It's therapy for me. It's just relaxation. And with my high blood pressure issues now, there's nothing sweeter than to, in the evening now, to come upstairs. I used to craft during the day, but I do enjoy the evenings. And coming up, it's nice and quiet, you know, and spending some quiet time exercising your mind. So I ran out. That's the only exercise that I give myself is my mind. Yeah. Yeah, let's not go there, right? So I had this heart paper corners thingies, and I put that on in the middle because I have 9 pages. So the, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, then I put one in the middle. I think I did it, or 3 and then the 4th one. And then on the Tim Holtz sticker pages, I had these corners, but you can't slide anything underneath, obviously, they're glue. But they give the illusion that they're like the photo corners. There it is. These are sticker corners and the other ones are photo corners. It's the same pewter because it's off the same page. No, it's not, because my photo corners are from the dollar store where nothing's a dollar. But this is off the Tim Holtz, so the pewter matches. So that's sweet. Yes, you got to work your stash. You have to work your stash. You cannot get your brain in knot because you run out of something, or you ran out of, you needed 2 more of whatever you were doing and you didn't have it. Go to your stash. Nobody is going to care unless they're, paying for the album. I think they're going to care more. But if it's gifted, if your project is gifted, it should be appreciated. There's that page. You know why I didn't worry about this? You're going to see why. See how much it's off? It's off, it's off. But I had to leave it like that because you would have seen it worse if I had have cut it shorter. Not only was it off up and down, it was off vertical, but I'm not going to say anything till I fixed it up. Because this is what you do. I put another piece of black paper on, of course. How are you going to notice? You're not going to notice the thickness. I just covered it with a full sheet of black paper, so it looked like I did cut it out and score it right the first time, but I didn't. Yeah, if somebody ever took one of my projects apart, like, one of my cards, a project, they wouldn't get, there'd be 16 different things going on underneath all of that glue. Yes, that's why we buy glue, to cover everything up. That's why I always say you have to have a good glue. Because, if my pages ever fell off, it would be a nightmare. Everybody, whoa, what was going on there? So, let's get back to the project. Yes. I didn't put any more magnets. Even though I have like a lot of glue on there, a lot of pages, I could have magnetized it, but I would have had it magnetized probably all 9 of them. And I thought, there's no way I'm doing that because, isn't that pretty? Look at that. Oh, and inside there, I ran out of corners, but inside it had these teensy ones inside the oval. Oh, yes. And that's the beauty. I went from fat to skinny. So that was great. Just great. And I love the look of pewter next to gray, especially gray blue hue. That's really pretty. Yes. So I'm putting that on. At first, yes, it does a number on your eyes. You're looking at it going, whoa, that's tiny. But you know what? I started with big and I ended up tiny. So it looks like I did it on purpose. There's the corners to the right on the page. I do use those. Yeah, I do. I use everything. Everything that can fit on the corners here, I use it because the person that gets the album, and like I said, if you're interested in it, I am going to, if it all turns out nice, if I'm satisfied with it, then I am going to sell it. So I'm just saying that if you're interested at the end of this project, when I finish the whole album and the case for it. So anyway, let's get off of that topic because we aren't working on that right now. I wanted to put pearls on it because I have the theme of pearls, and because of that one page, the one I think we're on right now, it was off. It was off, and I had to put it on. So the thing to do is find something that the eye can be taken away from it. Now, you don't want it on the bottom. I did every other page. You don't want to do every page. That just is asking for disaster when you're looking at it. But you can see it's just one of the pages that I talked about was a little off. So I had to do this. So, yeah, sitting right on my poils. What's the matter with you? Oh, yes. So here I go across, and this is just to make that one page look like it fits, because there was no way I was taking that off and starting again. No way. It didn't matter if I took 9 hours to straighten it up. I was going to take that 9 hours. And I'm so happy I did, because the back page was off too. I cut the paper crooked. but you're never going to know it. You really aren't. Wait till you see it. It looks perfectly straight. Perfectly straight. Yes, I must enjoy making mistakes and fixing them. I must enjoy it because I do it all the time. It's like I do it on purpose. What can I tell you? So I did decide to use the hot glue gun on that because you're dealing with lace and pearls, and I wanted to get it just right. So I have all of it done. I am really pleased with it. I really am. And here I'm going under all the bottom lace, just little bits on there so that when you shut it, it didn't fold itself up or, crease or anything like that. So I like the sequin thing there. Oh, and I wanted to show you, I took a lid off of one of my canning jars and I set it upside down, and that's if my glue gun, because I only paid $4 for it, so it has an issue of leaking a little bit. It has a little leaky problem, and I'm not familiar with that yet. Sorry, but I'm sure I'm going to get there. I'm sure I'm going to get there in time. Yes, but I put it there because hot glue comes right off it because it has that waxy stuff on it, and you just grab it all and put it in the garbage and start again. Yes, so I'm putting a poil, of course. Okay, talk normal, Carol. I'm putting a pearl on here, of course. It's tea time. I have to act sensible. And okay, enough of that. So now I'm going to put little dots around here because, of course, I had these miniature, mica miniature, like teensy weensy little miniature pearls that I want to go all the way around. So it matches the pearls above and it matches the pearls on the flip. And yet the pattern paper still lines up going down. You don't lose any of that because the lace is kind of see-through-y. I left enough of it so you could see the pattern. And then if you did miss a pattern or two, if you did, I don't think I did, but if I did, the eye wouldn't catch it because it has a lot going on. So that's kind of what I disguise things with. And it works for me. I'm pretty sure it'll work for you. And here you want to just, the pokey toe comes in handy. And I want to make sure it's right on the edge and that there's no glue in between, because I always keep in mind that this is not going to stay in my craft room. Well, I should say it possibly is not going to stay in my craft room. I don't know. We shall see once I've finished the whole album. And I'm making this album so each page could be turned into a card project. You don't have to make an album. You can use this waterfall as just a card alone on the inside of your card, So I'm trying to keep that in mind. And I got a beautiful comment from my friend Debbie. Hey, Debbie. And she has a YouTube channel, and she actually said she's going to make me a dangle for the top here, because mine broke, of my glitter on the metal part. Thank you so much, Debbie. You're so kind. I'm going to leave her link to her YouTube channel at the end of this one. So thank you for your kindness, Debbie, and your support and encouragement. I always appreciate it. So I look forward to it, and I will share it when I get, when I receive it and when I get to that part of the album. Now we're getting to the back page where I made that mistake. Now, can you see it? Maybe you can't. I'm sure you can, because we have eyes that crafters have, we can zoom in on things. But on the right-hand side, it seems to elevate to the left. I think I cut my gray paper. Well, I know I did because it's off. And I couldn't, I had to cover it. I had to do something. So I decided to go with bling. Diamond-y bling. Instead of the pearls, I wanted to add the diamonds because I am going to use diamonds throughout the album. So I thought I'll end it with the diamonds, and I am going to cover that up. You can see it's on a slant for sure. The left is a little higher than the right on the white. So yeah, I'm just going to bling it out. You're not even going to notice it. Wait till you see it. I couldn't believe it. And once again, I tell you, it's because I go to my stash. I just go and get something that I think will work. And I love, the, diamonds and pearls together. They look so pretty. So I wanted to make sure I didn't fill up the right hand side with the bling, because right till you get to the middle, it's fine. It's the left side that's a little off, and you can see I'm going to fill it up a bit. But then I had this beautiful sticker from a sticker page that I'm telling you, I have had these stickers for going on 5 years in my stash. From the dollar store where nothing's a dollar. That's where these stickers, I'm pretty sure. Or they came from that 12 by 12 wedding album that was $24.99 I got for $4.99. It may come from there. One of the two. It was very inexpensive, and I've had it sitting there for years, and I'm so pleased, because sometimes I look at things and I think I'm never going to use that, and then I give it away, and I wish I had have kept it. Just for the sake I could have used it again. Not because I wish I didn't give it, didn't give it away. But there it is there. It's a double sentiment, and it's gorgeous, and it's going to cover up that left-hand side beautifully. Isn't that something? And I put it there. I lower it so you can't see, that section on the left side. Even though it's above the diamonds, that's okay with me. I did need to cover that one space, because once you got to the middle, it was perfect on the right hand side from halfway over. But the left hand, there you go. And you will never know. Put it right there. Don't move it, Carol. That's it. So I hot glue it, I stick it down, and then I took that, it's not glossy accents. I'm going to turn around here. It's the 3D crystal lacquer I got from Heartfelt Creations in my last little wee order, because I haven't ordered too much lately, but I did need this album, so I did order some of that lacquer to try it, and I really like it. And I was working really late in the evening here, so I just kind of closed up the page in the project and put some of the, crystal lacquer on there from Heartfelt Creations. Glossy accents, anything will work. I really love using my Arlene's glue, my clear Arlene's glue, as glossy accents, so anything will work. And once again, to fool the eye, I'm going to put this heart die that I have, and the bow is going to be the right, because it's going to direct your eye to the bow, because I'm going to put a diamond in the center. And look at that. It says, with this ring. That's what it says, with this ring. So pretty. And it has a diamond ring set on it. It's hard to see because you have that bling there, but it does have that. Now I'm going to add the bigger diamond, and it looks like it was made for there, and you can't tell that my strip on the bottom, my 1/2 inch strip, is a little off because of the patterned paper. I'm telling you, you couldn't add any more. I'm hoping it all goes together as I do this. Yes, so flip that up. Look at that mat. Look at that cutting mat. Oh, I was so happy to clean that. So there you have it. I am just going to showcase it all, mainly because I want to see if everything is intact. Then I'm going to put it sideways and add the crystal lacquer after I take the thing off there. I did have sense enough to know that it wasn't going to come out without removing it. And I'm going to fill that up, and then I'm going to call it a night as far as creating, because I do clean off. I take a few hours. I think it was midnight by the time I finished this, and it was about 2 o'clock when I went to bed, because I wanted to clean everything up to start again on the 3rd page. I wanted to start with everything organized and my brain in order. So that's what I did. Now I have to put my hand there just to check it so it doesn't go. Can you imagine going down and hitting that the lacquer that I just put on there? Glossy accents, that's what I call it. It's just a different type of glossy accents. And I'm very pleased with the way this waterfall turned out. Now I'm going to show you something I found in my stash. At the other end of my craft room, I have these, because it has a stairwell going up into my 3rd level. So under the stairwell, I bought all of these fancy boxes stuff where I keep stash. and a few baskets full of things that I use for lace projects. And this was in it and I forgot all about it. I mean, yes, you can tell it's like, oh, I already cleaned. Look how clean my mat is. Look at my mat on the other side. I said, forget about this side. I did wash it up, but it didn't come as clean as this. And so, yeah, I found that and I'm just cleaning up. And this was like, oh, I was so happy. I found this bling. You know, I have that 60 drawer apothecary off my craft room in a spare room. It's 4.5 feet tall by 9 feet long. I think it's 9 or 11 feet long. I can't remember, but it has 60 drawers in it. It's an old apothecary that I got at an auction, and all 60 drawers are filled with ribbon and all kind, mostly ribbon. I put them all in color order. And yeah, so I must have been using this in this basket, and I was so thrilled because I am going to use some of this. And I thought, look at that. When you clean and you organize, oh yes, you find things. Look at that. Now I'm putting it all back nicely. Cleaned out the basket and putting this down. Yeah, and then I found this. This is with all my thrift store threads that I buy. I put in a basket in the same corner. And that's all the cotton and threads that I get on those big spools from the thrift store. And anyway, that was fun. So here we go. I was looking to see whether that matched because I bought quite a bit of that from Stampin' Up! Way back in the day. These I got from my dollar store where nothing's $1 for $1.25 each. It is beautiful cotton lace. This bling bling I probably got on the rolls offline. Found this beautiful lace, and yeah. And look at how nice my mat looks, how clean that looks. Boy, it makes a difference, doesn't it, when you're cleaning? And what I usually use on my mat or my island, I have marble. So I had to put that plastic that you put underneath chairs, you know, to save your floor. I put one of those on, I put 2 of them on top of my island so that it protects the marble. But I still like to have the cutting mat on there in case I use the knife. So can you believe I'm thinking about putting lace in the middle? I couldn't believe myself. I thought, Carol, really? Okay, after I take that away, yes, and I go to my page, I am going to show you what I use to wipe up if you have a cutting mat that is an absolute mess. And this white part wasn't as bad as the other part because obviously I'd use the other part more. But I do take Vim. V as in Victor, I M as in mother, Vim. And then I wipe it all over. But then I take the Gooby Gone just in case I feel anything that has glue on it. And glue, not only glue, anything you have on here will come up as far as ink or who knows what on this cutting mat. It will come off with the Gooby Gone. Sometimes, you know, you use your hot glue gun and you end up with that. So I went over that, and then look at that. It was beauteous. And then I just took a nice clean cloth to get the kind of oily from the Gooby Gone off of it, and I am ready to create. Everything was cleaned up. So I wanted to show you this. I have that I haven't used as far as a waterfall card like this one. I made a booklet with the Cats and Dogs Graphic 45 a few years back, and this is as far as I got with all of the Cats and Dogs collection. I have it, and I haven't used it yet, but I did start it, and I did a waterfall in this little booklet. So I got it out of my stash just to show you that there are all types of waterfall elements. You can cut the bottom with a stamp or die to make it pretty like that other one. And here is one of my projects I did from scratch. My own album. I didn't buy the album. And it has all kinds of flips and things. And this I did about, I'd say 4 years ago when I first started on YouTube. I did this album, and I didn't get it finished. And there I'm just showing you that it is the Holtz Stickers. that I put on there. So that's how long I've had that sticker set. And here you just tie it. Lots of magnets in this album. It's clean, it's simple, but it really does showcase the paper. I'm not sure which paper this is. I didn't have time to check that out, but it is adorable. And there's a 3-page waterfall that I did in here. Yeah, it was coming apart there at the top. I have to go back and glue the elements because literally it's been sitting in my stash to finish up for 4 years at least, 3 or 4 years. And it was nice to go back and check. And this is as far as I got on this book, I think. I did have some pages in it. Yes, I did finish that. Oh, I didn't finish it. I just put some paper. And then I made my own leather look for the back. That is off of a wedding gown. And there you have it. Another album I have to complete. But waterfall elements come in every shape and form. And I just wanted to share that with you. And now we're going to go to the Heartfelt Creation book. This is the back. Instead, I was going to put it on the flip, just like that. I'm just showing you how I was going to do it, where you flip it up, then you had the waterfall. But I changed my mind. I did not like the bulkiness, even though it was nice and weighty. I thought, no, it is just too much for the back page. I'm going to do pull-outs and flip-outs on that page to the back there with the teacup and teapot. So I really like this trim that I had in my stash. I got it at Hobby Lobby. It isn't a trim that I bought online. Ribbon or trim, whatever. So I got out my nice scissors. I saved my scissors here for my Ginger scissors for cutting material. I couldn't wait to find some material. I probably would have cut my shirt off just to use it. Yeah, I saved this because I know scissors. I have many of them and I have ruined them from cutting into paper, then trying to cut on fabric. It doesn't work. So look at this. It glides through there just like, I know what you're saying, but I have to say it, butter. It just glides across here. Now I'm going to get double because it was sewn up twice. So it had a double stitch in the center, so I was able to go in the middle of that double stitch and get twice as much of the trim. It's nice bright satin, a nice bright wedding white. And you know what? I ended up only having a tiny piece left over. It went around my entire album and I loved the look. So this is the start of a lace paper album. Instead of doing just a paper album or just doing a lace album, I decided to mix 2 of them up on this one and do lace and paper. So you'll have the best of both worlds when I get finished because I do need to use some of my lace up. I mean, it's just crazy to have. Oh, I learned this little idea from Scrap Queen. I saw her doing a project and she glued the new glue with some hot glue and put it in there so it stuck to the old glue. You know how when you're putting a new glue in the back, it falls out and does all this kind of crazy stuff? I thought that was ingenious. So thank you very much, Diane. That was wonderful. Just glue the end of your new stick going in. It'll stick to your old stick and you've got your long stick all ready to go. Oh yeah, I tell you. So I decided to take my album and start the lace part. And I really like the look. I love this lace. Yeah, I actually burnt my little finger there. So I thought, get that thing out. It's right beside you. You know, the silicone, help your fingers not get burnt to death thingy. Yes, so I got it out and I used it. Anything but your fingers will work if you don't want to burn yourself, and how easy it is to do. Oh, I must be answering something. Yeah. Anyway, there we go. I try not to do that, but it was really late at night, and I had to check who was emailing me that late at night. And there we go. Yes. Did a little clean and took that out. You can see I didn't want anything touching my nice clean mat. So I cleaned up my little lid to my canning jar where my $4 glue gun. Yeah, I'm a sucker for that when I see it at Michael's, when something's $2 or $4. Look at that. There sits that silicone thing and I'm burning my fingers. What is with that? So now I have the back page done. I was going to tell you something right there. Oh yes, I think I have about 8 glue guns. Yes, detailed ends, not detailed ends, only because they go on sale and I can't resist them. So it's crazy. So I know why this one I'm using was on sale, because it leaks a bit. Not much, just a little bit. So anyway, and it has the stand for standing up, and I was a sucker for that. It was only $4. So I took it out of the clearance bin. I knew something was the matter, and I guess it leaked when somebody else had it. I don't know. But then I wasn't going to cut it off. I was just showing you there. I went around the whole album with this beautiful lace that I had in my stash that I got at Hobby Lobby. I was so happy with it because it's the start of the lace end of things. And I finished that up, and I'm able to begin the pages once this goes around. So once I have this all the way around, and what I want to suggest to you when you're putting down a trim like this, you check the other side, because you're doing white on white, and you want to make sure that it's even on the back side, because sometimes, yes, the eye does play tricks with you when you're putting it down, and you end up getting it crooked and have to tear it off. So every time I place something down, I tried to make sure that I looked at it and got it even on the front and back. And this is the start of the lace end of the actual album. I'm really excited to move forward on it. I really am. Now we're finished, and this is the back page. It is going to flip, and then I'm going to have some more things happening. I'm going to flip it that way, just like that, like a book. I was wondering whether I should go up or sideways, but I'm just measuring, and I was going to make the actual gusset page so that you could flip it, but it was getting too late. It was almost 2 in the morning. So all I did was get out my Tyvek, because any pages that are going to flip a billion times, I want Tyvek on. Now this is what Tyvek looks like if you get it in the mail, but you can buy Tyvek in the envelopes, and you can see I think I gave out I don't know, at least 150 Tyvek envelopes to my subscribers way back when. When I first began, I did Random Act of Kindness, and I gifted, I think it was about 150. My family helped me put supplies in them, and I did the on Tyvek so people could use the Tyvek, because in some places they couldn't get it. So you can see that it was RAK, Random Act of Kindness pack. Instead of the C, I wanted it to match. I did a butterfly on it, and then I put their names at the top and their address. So this is Tyvek. This one, I didn't use it. I ended up, I think Carrie had a Y on it or something. I didn't end up using it. So I'm going to use it for my Tyvek closures on this album. Any page that has to flip more than, it's just a flip all the time, I'm going to add Tyvek. So I'm just getting a couple of pages ready for my third page, and we are going to be completed. And Tyvek is fabulous. Oh, it doesn't rip, so you need to use it on your pages that are going to get a lot of workout on them, so that the actual paper doesn't tear or rip. So here we go, my friends. This is as far as I've gotten. I'm going to use this beautiful deep gray on the back of my waterfall card to the left. This is going to be the back page, but only to the left. On the right hand side, this is going to flip and have some flip-flop pull-out things going on that page. So thank you as always for joining me. I appreciate you. Have yourself a blessed week. I'll see you on the next tutorial. And please enjoy the pictures coming up with the waterfall card. I hope it was inspiring. Okay, so we will see you on page number 3. Bye, everybody.